Welcome to Medica Wellness Studio. I'm Angelica Maria Koch with the inspiring and educational videos about how to live optimal health and vibrant well-being as I continue to guide you step by step through an amazing and life-transformative process, empowering you to connect with your body and soul in a completely new way again. At the moment, I will post videos every 2 weeks, so I encourage you to subscribe to my channel to stay updated. Today's video theme is the toxic stress cycle, which is also covered in the 5th chapter of my award-winning book, The Dance of Your Core Healing, Transforming Your Mind, Body and Soul in the New World. Today we are also leaving behind the first part of the book, which is covered by the core mind, and now we embark on a very exciting new part called the core body. In part 1, you became aware of the deep interconnectedness of your thoughts, emotions, and belief systems, filtering through your cells with the respective associated behaviors to your life experience. So we were looking at how to transform limiting belief systems which are linked and have a direct relationship to your physical symptoms. But from now on, I want you to understand and feel that your body is the most magnificent instrument on earth. With millions of functions and chemical processes occurring each and every day, it supersedes any technological invention today. Your body is the most exquisite and efficiently engineered masterpiece, and is vitalized and fueled by your highest intelligence. In order to function at its optimal health, your body needs to be able to communicate with you, just as your cells need to communicate with each other. This sharing of information is vitally important for your overall well-being. Today, this phenomenon of talking to each other has been severely disrupted, not only by our attitude and relationship to our bodies, but by an overwhelming accumulated cellular toxicity affecting our cell membranes, which are then unable to receive or to provide nutrients to the overall host, which is you. Your body is a superb example of a well-organized teamwork. Let's embark on a scenic sightseeing tour within the body, traveling from organ to organ, getting to know its function and magical tasks. In the role as a teacher, always incorporate the fascinating subject of the toxic stress cycle, which is fundamentally a process where we pass on the bucket of accumulated toxins from body system to body system. The toxic stress cycle shapes itself as a perpetual stress pattern and can only be broken with natural and well-chosen nutrients, as well as a conscious and life-affirming mindset. Initially, it was formulated by Dr. Ben Collymore. Have a look at this diagram, which I just posted. All illness starts with your digestion, or lack of it. Your digestive system is the very first entrance door of your present and future diseases in your life. Our food is our medicine, and our medicine is our food. A simple statement, but so often overlooked, yet with profound repercussions on our health. Poor digestion or an imbalanced diet is the start and the end of the self-feeding toxic stress cycle. When was the last time you sat down at the table feeling a sense of wonder by looking at the intense green of a lightly steamed broccoli? Or smelling the intoxicating aroma of a freshly cut ginger root? When was the last time you remember taking the time to chew and taste your food? When was the last time you remember enjoying a Sunday breakfast with your friends? When was the last time you remember stuffing yourself with a sandwich while rushing to get the next train home from work? Your digestive system is made up of the digestive tract, a series of hollow organs joined in a long and twisting tube from the mouth to the anus. Of course, there are other organs involved like pancreas, liver, gallbladder, and kidneys, but they all help the body to break down and absorb the food. Imbalances of these systems are mainly created by general lack of enzymes or improper chewing, the lack of nerve flow from the spine, organs pushing or impinging on each other, improper food combinations, or too much food or poor food choices. Irregular eating habits also play a part here, like eating too late at night. And of course, not to mention the exposure to chemical food additives, excessive use of microwaves, fried food, drinking excessive beverages during your meal, and there are all factors and many more which can cause the production of the accumulated toxins within the body, which are then passed on to the overall system. Digestive imbalances are often caused also by emotional disturbances. We touched upon this in the last video, but here it becomes really an important point, as revealed by our chosen language and verbal expressions in describing them. We share our likes and dislikes as, "This is not to my taste," or an aggressive behavior says maybe, "I'm getting my teeth into it," or facing an unbearable situation, "I find this hard to swallow." A depressed person might say, "This is hard to digest." An introvert might swallow their anger, or someone very upset might say, "I'm getting eaten up inside." The basic tendency to withhold our feelings or aggressions and turn them inward and against us can lead to the degeneration of stomach tissue, for example, and then we end up with an ulcer. Rather than expressing our emotions freely, we are often digesting ourselves. Ask yourself, what is eating me up? What issue is so difficult to swallow? What I am so sour about? If we leave the stomach now and we go further down in the small and the larger intestines, we find maybe somebody who suffers from diarrhea or loose stool, who might say, "I'm scared shitless." Do you see the relationship here? There's always a story and the symptom. Once the stomach is unable to clear the ingested toxins, it will pass them on to the small and the large intestines. And now we arrive at the colon. Here the incomplete digestion, as well as the toxic overload, results into fermentation or putrefaction of the food. It means the food stays there too long and it starts to rot. So we have gases coming up. So our colon flora, our bowel flora, is here very important. We should have around 85% beneficial bacteria, maybe in the form of Lactobacillus, Bifidus, Bulgarus, and many other strains, and about 15% only harmful bacteria, potentially harmful bacteria, maybe in the form of coliform or Streptococcus. Now, because of our unhealthy diet and this overuse of antibiotics, cellulose lifestyle, this ratio has now reversed, and we often see 85% of potentially harmful bacteria and only 15% of beneficial bacteria. Our imbalanced intestinal bowel flora influences diseases like dysbiosis, or maybe you have heard of leaky gut syndrome, which are really man-made diseases today. New research studies have shown that as the newborns find their way through the mother's birth canal during the birthing process, they gather beneficial bacteria via the placenta and the vagina skin that colonize the mother's digestive system in the womb. Now, these microbes serve as precursors for the baby's healthy and functioning digestive system. This is the reason why a pregnant woman really has to put a lot of attention to her bowel flora, because it affects the future health of her baby. Our cells, and we are not designed to live in isolation. We never have been. Today we are aware that the totality of microbes, or they're called also microbiomes, which represent genetic elements interacting within a particular environment, from our digestive system to the soil, to the seawater and the fresh water, are all vital parts of a symbiotic and self-sustaining totality within our bodies or the planet as a whole. Here, one ecosystem serves and feeds another. What happens outside in nature is mirrored, and it's the same ecosystem within yourself. There is no separation. I highly recommend introducing fermented food into your daily diet, like sauerkraut, because they serve as significant nutrients in balancing the diversity of bacteria within the digestive system. And so our bucket filled with toxins, already handed now from the stomach to the intestines, is now passed on to the liver and the gallbladder. The liver is the body's main natural detoxifier. It has a huge effect not only on our mental, emotional states, but also on our physical health, longevity, by removing poisons and metabolic waste products from food processing, agricultural chemicals, environmental pollutants, vaccination, prescription, recreational drugs, radiation to junk food. All that relies on the liver. She or he has to really work hard to clean this stuff out each and every day. The liver is not only one of the largest organs in the body, but its central organ. It is the body's finest laboratory. When the toxins from your colon enter your portal system, your liver and gallbladder are affected. So these toxins and these gases and chemicals are now traveling from the colon to your liver, only to contribute to the liver's already heavy workload. So here we talk about a congested liver. But did you know that your eyesight, which maybe begins to weaken not just because of age, has a direct relationship to your liver? So when the liver is overloaded, your eyesight is immediately affected. Did you also know that your maybe lifelong constipation might have everything to do with your sluggish liver, not just with your colon or the lack of laxatives? And the healing triad of stomach, colon and liver is the fundamental and essential block of interdependent and interrelated functions of optimal health. When you take care of your stomach, colon and liver, you are doing very well. If these three aspects are well balanced and nourished, you will experience vitality, a smooth detoxification throughout all your body systems, and a joyful and rejuvenating well-being. The beautiful attribute of a really clean liver is that you are able to think clearly despite being maybe emotionally overloaded. If you're suffering from liver problems, then it is time to ask yourself the following questions. Are there any areas in my life where I have lost my capacity to clearly assess and evaluate? Where is my keen sense of distinguishing between what is healthy and good for me and what is toxic in my life? Do I feel confident? Do I appear overconfident by trying to hide my lack of self-esteem? These are all liver issues. The gallbladder is intimately linked to the liver because of its yellow bile. And here too, if the gallbladder gets congested, we maybe see symptoms like gallstones. The metaphysical meaning of the gallbladder has to do with resentment of past events. And then, the gallbladder might be expressing itself into symptoms like nausea and vomiting. So a pregnant woman who experiences excessive nausea in the first trimester of her pregnancy might be suffering from a congested gallbladder. When the liver isn't happy anymore, then it will finally dump the toxins into the kidneys and the bladder. The kidney's function centralizes on filtering out the toxins from the blood and passing them out of the body via the urine. But as the kidneys take on now the extra load from the liver, they too can become completely overwhelmed and overloaded, and then we have maybe susceptibility for bacterial infection or kidney stones. The metaphysical aspect of the kidneys has a lot to do with fear. Fear of finances and fear of the future. But because we have two kidneys, it also has to do with relationship around partnership in love, in business, or in work general. Are you able to merge both aspects, feminine and masculine, within yourself in a harmonious way? Or are you entertaining this inner split and projecting externally onto your loved ones? The bladder is a wonderful and direct instrument in the way it expresses our unresolved emotions. For example, a grieving or sad child, who is unable to express his tears during the day, might express the tears during the night in the form of bedwetting. Don't scold your child because of the soaked bed sheets, but look at the story behind it. When the kidneys cannot handle the toxins in the blood, the burden is now passed on to the next organ in line, the lungs. And now we see symptoms like asthma, respiratory symptoms, even allergic reactions. Now, as the lungs cannot deal with the passing bucket now, they are now passed on to the circulation within the body. We have two circulatory systems, the blood and the lymphatic system. The primary function of the lymph is to help detoxify the toxins in the blood. Yet when the blood and the lymphatic systems are now overloaded, more waste is created by the poor cellular metabolism. It's like the garbage piles are just getting bigger and bigger. Once the lymph system becomes congested, the whole body is affected, as the lymph cannot transport vital nutrients to each cell for its daily renewal. That means the lymph is like a transport system which carries nutrients to each cell and takes the waste products away. But that is now impaired. And now we are talking about a serious garbage pileup. And on we go. From the blood and the lymph system, the toxins continue to travel further now to the spleen and the heart. You can also see now that more and more the interior of the body is affected in vital organs. The function of the spleen relies on filtering and cleansing the lymph, and thus serves as part of the body's waste disposal system. It is also directly linked with the immune system. Our basic knowledge about the function of the heart often circulates around, it's just a muscular pump. Circulates blood throughout the body, or it creates these pressure waves. But it is much more than that. It is an electromagnetic generator, an endocrine gland which produces hormones, and also it has its own functional brain. So when the information comes in, it goes to your heart first, and then the brain. The human heart feels things the eyes cannot see and knows what the mind cannot understand. The heart not only deals with your unresolved emotions and external perceived frequencies, but also with your ever-growing toxic pile. So in order to save your life, it now passes on this bucket onto the muscles or the soft tissue. So your aching body and muscles after a day of strenuous garden work might also be the result of your congested lymphatic system. When the lactic acid builds up in the muscles, they become stiff and sore, and slowly but surely will impact the vertebrae and the spine. So if you have continuous, spastic muscles, it's a very clear sign now that your spine is really in danger, because it impinges the nerve flow to various organs, and then they can't do their functions anymore so well. As the toxic bucket is passed on, it is finally placed to the brain and the nerves. And then here we deal with symptoms like Alzheimer's, dementia, hyperactivity in children. Very common. Why? Because the toxic levels of heavy metals, food allergies, food sensitivities are all part of this cycle. Your ability or inability to think clearly during your workday might be the result of your body's having reached this stage of the cycle. By now, with a weak heart, clogged brain, and the overall communication within the body, which is significantly impaired by now, we eventually arrive at the endocrine gland system, which functions is to produce hormones. We have several endocrine glands, from the hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, ovaries, testes. They all talk to each other. They really like that. And they produce hormones. But when this pathway is impaired and this communication isn't working anymore, the next domino to fall is the digestive system. It is at this point that we may find it difficult to digest the meal on our plate because we are lacking enzymes and they are not doing their jobs anymore, what they usually meant to do. So here we are again, having arrived full circle back at the top of our bodily scenic sightseeing tour. We are now looking at the very beginning of our daily plate and our digestive system, having addressed every major organ within the body by following the route of passing the bucket filled with overflowing toxins. At this stage, I often suggest an ultimate whole-body detoxification program. We will talk about this in the following videos. If you feel inspired and want to learn more about my teachings and work in homeopathy and quantum healing, I encourage you to get my book or one of my online courses. I'm offering 3 courses right now: Thriving with Homeopathy, a practical guide for the whole family and beyond; Thriving with Homeopathy for Birthing Life, a practical guide for midwives, doulas, childbirth educators and nurses; and a great course called Being a Living Quantum Healing, Transforming Your Mind, Body and Soul in the New World. Very much what I'm presenting here. Although these courses are offered in an online format, I will guide you step by step through the whole material and therefore offer you individual tutorials, which you usually do not get with online courses. They are beautifully created, and I'm confident will become a constant companion on your journey of optimal health. Have a look at my website, medicanova.net. Subscribe to my channel, would be really grateful. And if you have any questions, leave your comments below. In the meantime, much love.